One of the most powerful secrets to creating wealth that has the power to completely change your money situation forever is deep self-love. This amazing change doesn't involve a specific money-making technique or business strategy that requires action. This secret is about the person you need to become inside. For example, if your dream is to become wealthy, the truth is that you need to love yourself deeply before money starts flowing to you. Otherwise, you'll keep jumping from one money idea to another, thinking the problem is with the methods you're using. Think about it for a moment. How many people do you know who have tried countless ways to make money? They've read books about getting rich, watched videos about starting businesses, maybe even bought expensive courses promising them financial freedom. They work harder and longer hours. They switch jobs hoping for better pay. They start side businesses. They invest in stocks. They try everything they can think of, yet somehow they're still struggling with money. What's even more puzzling is that you probably know someone who seems to make money easily. They don't appear to work as hard as everyone else. They don't stress about money, and opportunities just seem to find them. It's like money flows to them naturally, while others have to fight for every dollar. This isn't about luck, and it's not about them being smarter or having better connections. There's something much deeper happening here. The truth that most people don't want to hear is this: money doesn't avoid you because you don't know the right strategies. Money avoids you because of how you feel about yourself deep down inside. Your relationship with money is actually a mirror of your relationship with yourself. If you don't believe you're worthy of good things, if you don't love and value yourself, then money will stay away from you no matter what you do. This might sound strange at first, especially if you've been taught that making money is all about working hard, being smart, or knowing the right people. But when you really look at the wealthy people around you, you'll notice something interesting. They carry themselves differently. They speak about themselves differently. They believe they deserve good things in life. This isn't arrogance or being stuck up. It's genuine self-worth and self-love. Now you might be thinking, what does loving myself have to do with making money? That sounds too simple or too spiritual to be real. This is exactly what I thought for many years. I was focused on learning business skills, improving my resume, networking with successful people, and trying different investment strategies. I believed that wealth was purely about external actions and knowledge. But here's what I discovered after years of struggling despite doing everything right. The external world is simply reflecting what's happening in your internal world. If internally you believe you're not good enough, not smart enough, not deserving enough, then externally your money situation will reflect those exact beliefs. You'll unconsciously sabotage opportunities. You'll settle for less than you're worth, and you'll attract situations that confirm your negative beliefs about yourself. There's a universal law that operates whether you believe in it or not, just like gravity works whether you understand it or not. This law states that your external circumstances will always match your internal state. Your bank account, your job, your income, your financial opportunities, they're all outer expressions of your inner beliefs about your own worth and value. When you truly love yourself, you naturally start making different choices. You don't accept jobs that pay you less than your worth. You don't stay in relationships or situations where people treat you badly. You start speaking up for yourself. You begin to see opportunities that were always there, but you couldn't see them before because you didn't believe you deserved them. This isn't about becoming selfish or arrogant. It's about recognizing your true value as a human being. So the first lesson is this: if you don't learn to love yourself deeply, your money problems will never go away. This is the basic truth about wealth and self-love. If you master this secret, everything you touch will turn into money opportunities. However, this requires you to face your own fears and the voice in your head that says you're not good enough. If you're really ready to change your money life forever, this video is for you. Most people spend their entire lives trying to fix their money problems from the outside. They believe that if they just get the right job, start the right business, move to the right city, or learn the right skills, their financial struggles will end. So they keep pushing, grinding, and exhausting themselves trying to force money to come to them. They work overtime, they sacrifice time with family, they stress themselves out, and they burn out trying to make more money. But what happens? Even when they do make more money, somehow it doesn't last. They get a raise, but their expenses go up too. They make more money, but they also spend more. They start a successful business, but then something goes wrong and they lose it all. Or they make good money, but they never feel secure or happy with what they have. It's like there's an invisible ceiling that keeps them stuck at a certain level, no matter how hard they try. This invisible force is your subconscious beliefs about your own worth. Deep down, you have beliefs about what you deserve in life, how much money you're allowed to have, and whether you're the type of person who can be wealthy. These beliefs were formed when you were young, and they're running your financial life whether you realize it or not. For example, maybe when you were growing up, you heard your parents say things like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," "We can't afford that," "Rich people are greedy," or "You have to work hard for everything." Maybe you were told to be grateful for what you have and not ask for more. Maybe you learned that wanting money made you selfish or materialistic. All of these messages created beliefs in your subconscious mind about money and about what you deserve. You might have tried positive thinking or affirmations about money. You might have repeated things like, "I am wealthy," or "Money flows to me easily," while looking in the mirror. But if deep down you don't believe you're worthy of wealth, if you don't genuinely love and value yourself, then these positive statements will feel fake and won't create lasting change. This is why so many people get excited about the law of attraction, but then feel disappointed when it doesn't work for them. The missing piece is self-love. You can't attract something you don't believe you deserve. You can't manifest money if you don't believe you're worthy of having it. And you can't believe you're worthy of good things if you don't love yourself deeply. When you don't love yourself, you unconsciously sabotage your own success. You might procrastinate on important opportunities. You might not follow through on good ideas. You might accept less money than you're worth because you don't want to seem greedy or demanding. You might spend money unwisely right after you make it because part of you doesn't believe you should have it. This self-sabotage isn't obvious. It doesn't feel like sabotage when it's happening. It feels like bad luck, poor timing, or circumstances beyond your control. But when you start paying attention, you'll notice patterns. You'll see how you talk yourself out of opportunities, how you settle for less, how you give your power away to others, and how you consistently choose the safe path instead of the path that could lead to real wealth. Mastering the connection between self-love and wealth means you become someone who naturally attracts money instead of someone who has to chase it. When you deeply love and value yourself, you automatically start making choices that lead to financial abundance. You charge what you're worth. You invest in yourself and your growth. You surround yourself with people who support your success. You trust your instincts about opportunities. You're not desperate for money because you know you're valuable with or without it. But here's the challenging part. Learning to love yourself deeply requires you to face the parts of yourself you've been avoiding. You have to confront the voice in your head that criticizes you, that tells you you're not good enough, that says you don't deserve good things. You have to question the beliefs you've carried for years about who you are and what you're capable of. You have to be willing to see yourself differently than you ever have before. This kind of inner work takes courage because it means admitting that the problem isn't out there, it's inside you. It means taking responsibility for your financial life in a way that might feel uncomfortable at first. It means stopping the habit of blaming the economy, your boss, your background, or your circumstances for your money struggles. It means looking in the mirror and asking yourself some difficult questions about how you really feel about yourself. But here's what makes this journey worth it. When you do this inner work, when you learn to genuinely love and value yourself, everything in your external world begins to shift. Not only does your money situation improve, but your relationships get better, your health improves, you feel more confident, and you start living a life that truly fulfills you. The wealth that comes from self-love isn't just about money. It's about richness in every area of your life. Self-love is like a magnet that attracts wealth into your life. When you love yourself deeply, you send a message to the universe that says, I am worthy of good things. Let's go back to the wealth example. If your relationship with yourself is, I don't deserve money, or I'm not good with money, then life will say, okay, that's what you believe, so here's more proof that you can't have money. And you'll keep getting situations that confirm you're right about not deserving wealth. Imagine looking into a mirror. Whatever you show the mirror, it reflects back to you exactly. If you smile, the mirror shows you smiling. If you frown, the mirror shows you frowning. The mirror doesn't judge what you're showing it. It just reflects it perfectly. Your financial life works exactly the same way. It's a perfect mirror of your internal relationship with yourself and your beliefs about what you deserve. When you look at your bank account, your income, your financial opportunities, and your money stress, you're looking at a reflection of your internal world. If internally you believe you're not valuable, the mirror of your financial life will show you a lack of money. If internally you believe money is hard to come by, your external world will make money hard to come by. If internally you believe you don't deserve abundance, your life will give you just enough to get by, but never real wealth. Every day, through your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, you're sending messages about money and about your own worth. Most of these messages happen automatically without you even realizing it. When you look at expensive things and think, I could never afford that, you're sending a message. When you worry about bills, you're sending a message. When you feel jealous of people who have more money than you, you're sending a message. When you tell yourself, I'm just not good with money, you're sending a message. All of these messages add up to create your financial reality. The universe, life, or whatever you want to call the force that creates your experiences is always listening to these messages and giving you more of whatever you're focusing on. This isn't about judgment or punishment. It's simply how the system works. You get more of what you believe about yourself and your life. Most people have a voice in their head that constantly criticizes them. This voice says things like, you're not smart enough to be rich, you don't work hard enough, you're not the type of person who has money. You always mess things up, or you don't deserve good things. This critical voice might sound like a parent, a teacher, or just your own thoughts, but it's running in the background all the time. Every time this critical voice speaks, it's like putting a block in the flow of money to your life. Imagine trying to drink water through a straw that has knots tied in it. The water can't flow freely because of the blockages. Your self-criticism creates the same kind of blockages in your ability to receive money. The criticism makes you feel small, unworthy, and incapable, and these feelings create resistance to abundance. When you love yourself, you carry a completely different energy. You walk differently, you speak differently, you make decisions differently, and you relate to money differently. People can feel this energy, and they respond to it. Opportunities are drawn to this energy. Money flows toward this energy because self-love creates an openness to receiving good things. Self-love says, I am valuable just as I am. Self-criticism says, I'm not good enough. Self-love says, I deserve good things in life. Self-criticism says, I have to earn my worth. Self-love says, there's plenty of money for everyone, including me. Self-criticism says, money is scarce and hard to get. Can you feel the difference in these energies? Can you sense how one opens doors while the other closes them? One of the biggest misconceptions about self-love is that you have to earn it by being perfect, by achieving certain things, or by being better than you are right now. This is completely backwards. Your worthiness, your value as a human being, isn't based on your performance or your achievements. You were born worthy. You're valuable simply because you exist. When you base your self-worth on external things like your income, your job title, your house, your car, or other people's opinions, you put yourself on an emotional roller coaster. When these external things are going well, you feel good about yourself. When they're not going well, you feel bad about yourself. This creates an unstable foundation for attracting wealth because your energy is constantly changing based on circumstances. Many people confuse confidence with self-love, but they're actually quite different. Confidence is usually based on your abilities or past successes. You feel confident about things you're good at or things you've accomplished before. But confidence can be shaken when you face new challenges or when you fail at something. Self-love, on the other hand, is unconditional. It's not based on what you can do or what you've achieved. It's based on recognizing your inherent value as a human being. When you love yourself this way, you can take risks, you can fail and bounce back quickly, and you can try new things without your sense of worth being threatened. This creates a much more powerful foundation for creating wealth because you're not afraid of looking bad or making mistakes. When you genuinely love yourself, you automatically start making better financial decisions. You stop accepting jobs or clients that don't pay you what you're worth because you value your time and energy. You stop buying things to impress other people because you don't need external validation. You start investing in your growth and education because you believe you're worth the investment. You begin to save money because you want to take care of your future self. These changes happen naturally when you love yourself. You don't have to force them or discipline yourself into them. It's like when you love someone else, you naturally want to take good care of them. When you love yourself, you naturally want to take good care of yourself financially. You start seeing money as a tool for creating a good life rather than as something that determines your worth as a person. When you love yourself deeply, it affects how other people treat you and the opportunities they offer you. People can sense when someone values themselves, and they tend to value that person more too. Employers are more likely to pay higher salaries to people who believe they're worth it. Clients are more willing to pay premium prices to people who are confident in their value. Business partners want to work with people who respect themselves. This isn't about being arrogant or thinking you're better than others. It's about having a quiet, steady sense of your own worth that other people can feel. When you love yourself, you communicate more clearly, you set better boundaries, you don't settle for less than you deserve, and you attract people who want to support your success rather than people who want to take advantage of you. Most people who struggle with money are caught in a cycle of self-sabotage that they don't even realize exists. They have an opportunity to make more money, but then they do something to mess it up. They start making progress, but then they get scared and go back to their old habits. They receive money, but then they spend it quickly on things they don't really need. This cycle continues because deep down, they don't believe they deserve to have wealth. Self-love breaks this cycle by changing your relationship with receiving good things. When you love yourself, you believe you deserve abundance, so you don't sabotage opportunities when they come. You don't get scared of success because you know you're worthy of it. You don't spend money recklessly because you want to take care of yourself. You start working with the flow of abundance instead of fighting against it. Thinking. I've written a substantial amount covering the first 3 sections. Let me check the word count and see if I need to add more to reach the 4,000 plus word minimum. Looking at what I've written so far, Section 1, Hook, about 1,000 to 1,200 words. Section 2, Stakes, about 1,000 to 1,200 words. Section 3, Core Explanation, about 1,200 to 1,400 words. This is roughly 3,200 to 3,800 words. I should add a bit more content to ensure I'm well over 4,000 words. Let me add more depth to Section 3 since it's the core explanation section. What's fascinating is that there's actually scientific backing for the connection between self-love and financial success. Studies in psychology show that people with higher self-esteem tend to earn more money throughout their careers. They negotiate better salaries, they take more calculated risks that pay off, and they recover faster from financial setbacks. This isn't coincidence. It's the natural result of believing in your own value. Research also shows that people who practice self-compassion are more likely to learn from their mistakes instead of being paralyzed by them. In the financial world, this means they can take risks, fail, learn, and try again without their self-worth being destroyed. They see failure as feedback rather than as proof that they're not good enough. This resilience is crucial for building wealth because every successful person has failed multiple times on their way to success. When you love yourself, you become much better at making financial decisions because you learn to trust your inner wisdom. Most people make money decisions based on fear, other people's opinions, or what they think they should do. But when you have a strong relationship with yourself, you can feel whether a financial opportunity is right for you or not. This inner guidance system is incredibly powerful, but it only works when you're not constantly doubting yourself or looking outside yourself for validation. Self-love creates the inner quiet and confidence you need to hear your intuition clearly. You start to notice when something feels off about a business deal, when someone is trying to take advantage of you, or when an opportunity is perfectly aligned with your goals and values. One of the most profound shifts that happens when you develop deep self-love is that you stop desperately chasing money and start allowing it to flow to you. When you're chasing money from a place of desperation or fear, you actually push it away because desperation is unattractive and makes people want to avoid you rather than do business with you. But when you love yourself and know your worth, you approach money opportunities from a place of confidence and abundance rather than need and desperation. You can walk away from deals that don't serve you. You can wait for the right opportunities instead of jumping at anything that comes along. You can be selective about who you work with and what projects you take on. This selective approach actually leads to much better financial outcomes because you're making decisions from wisdom rather than fear. The first key to understand is that your money life reflects two things: how you see yourself and how you see money. In simple words, what you see in your bank account is a reflection of how much you love and value yourself. If you look at yourself and think, "I'm not worth much," life will simply reflect that belief back to you. Instead of trying to force money to come to you, you must learn to change how you feel about yourself first. Think of your financial life as being controlled by two mirrors that are constantly reflecting your inner world. The first mirror reflects your relationship with yourself, how you see yourself, how you talk to yourself, and how much you believe you're worth. The second mirror reflects your relationship with money itself, whether you see money as good or bad, easy or hard to get, abundant or scarce. Most people focus all their energy on trying to change what they see in these mirrors without realizing that mirrors don't create images. They only reflect what's put in front of them. You can't change your reflection by touching the mirror. You have to change what you're showing the mirror. In the same way, you can't change your financial situation by just trying harder at external strategies. You have to change your internal relationship with yourself and with money. Your self-image is like a thermostat that controls the temperature in your house. If the thermostat is set to 70 degrees, the heating and cooling system will work to keep the temperature at 70 degrees. If it gets too hot, the air conditioning kicks in to cool it down. If it gets too cold, the heating turns on to warm it up. The system is designed to maintain whatever temperature the thermostat is set to. Your income works the same way. You have an internal financial thermostat that's set to whatever amount you believe you're worth. If you believe you're worth $50,000 a year, your subconscious mind will work to keep your income around that level. If you somehow make more than that, you'll unconsciously do things to bring it back down to your comfort zone. If you make less, you'll be motivated to bring it back up, but usually only to that same level you believe you deserve. Most people have hidden beliefs about money that they're not even aware of. These beliefs were formed when they were young, and they're still running their financial life today. Some common limiting beliefs include: money is the root of all evil, rich people are greedy, you have to work hard for money, there's not enough money to go around, money can't buy happiness, I'm not smart enough to be rich, or people like me don't have money. These beliefs feel true because you've been carrying them for so long, but they're actually just opinions that you learned from other people. The problem is that as long as you believe these things, they will control your financial reality. If you believe money is evil, you'll unconsciously avoid having too much of it. If you believe rich people are greedy, you won't want to become rich because you don't want to be greedy. If you believe you're not smart enough, you won't pursue opportunities that could make you wealthy. The voice in your head that constantly criticizes you is probably the biggest obstacle to your financial success. This inner critic says things like, you're not good enough, you don't know what you're doing, you're going to fail, you don't deserve success, or you're not as good as other people. Every time this voice speaks, it's like programming your financial thermostat to a lower setting. This inner critic usually developed when you were young as a way to protect you from disappointment or rejection. If you don't expect good things, you won't be hurt when they don't happen. If you don't try for success, you won't fail. But what was meant to protect you as a child is now limiting you as an adult. The inner critic that was supposed to keep you safe is actually keeping you poor. Pay attention to how you talk to yourself about money and about your capabilities. Do you say things like, I can't afford that, I'm terrible with money, I never have enough, money goes out as fast as it comes in, or I'm just not lucky with money? These statements might seem harmless, but they're actually instructions to your subconscious mind about what kind of financial reality to create for you. Your subconscious mind doesn't judge whether these statements are good or bad. It just works to make them true. If you constantly say, I can't afford that, your subconscious will make sure you can't afford things. If you say, I'm terrible with money, it will create situations where you make poor financial decisions. Your words have power, and the words you say to yourself have the most power of all because you believe them more than you believe what anyone else says. A healthy relationship with money starts with a healthy relationship with yourself. When you love and value yourself, you see money as a tool that helps you create a good life and contribute to others. You don't need money to feel worthy, but you're open to having it because you know you'll use it well. You're grateful for the money you have, and you're excited about having more because you have good plans for it. An unhealthy relationship with money usually reflects an unhealthy relationship with yourself. You might see money as a way to prove your worth, or you might feel guilty about wanting money. You might be afraid of money because you don't trust yourself with it, or you might be obsessed with money because you think it will solve all your problems. These attitudes create resistance and blocks that prevent money from flowing freely in your life. Changing your financial self-image starts with becoming aware of how you currently see yourself in relation to money. Ask yourself, what do I believe about my ability to make money? What do I believe I deserve financially? How do I feel when I think about having wealth? What messages did I learn about money when I was growing up? Be honest with yourself about these answers, because you can't change what you're not willing to see. Once you're aware of your current beliefs, you can start to consciously choose new ones. Instead of, I'm not good with money, you can choose, I'm learning to manage money wisely. Instead of, I don't deserve wealth, you can choose, I deserve abundance because I'm a valuable person. Instead of, money is hard to come by, you can choose, money flows to me easily when I'm aligned with my worth. The key is to choose beliefs that feel good and empowering rather than limiting and discouraging. What you need to understand is that when you start loving yourself more, money doesn't appear instantly. Here's why. In your mind, you can feel worthy right away just by changing your thoughts. But in the real world, money takes time to show up because everything physical moves slower than thoughts. So you have to keep loving yourself and feeling worthy long enough for the money to catch up. Many people give up right before their breakthrough because they expect instant results. Imagine planting a seed in your garden. The moment you plant it, nothing appears to be happening above ground. Days pass, maybe even weeks, and still you see nothing. But underground, incredible changes are taking place. The seed is absorbing water, sending out roots, and gathering strength for the moment it will break through the soil. If you dug up the seed every few days to check on it, you would actually prevent it from growing. Your financial transformation works exactly the same way. The moment you start truly loving yourself and believing you're worthy of abundance, the process begins. But just like the seed, the changes are happening in invisible ways at first. Your energy shifts, your decision-making improves, you start noticing opportunities you missed before, and you begin attracting different types of people and situations. But the actual money might not show up immediately. In your mind, you can instantly imagine yourself as wealthy. You can picture your dream house, see yourself driving your ideal car, and feel what it would be like to have financial freedom. These mental changes happen at the speed of thought, instantly. But the physical world operates under different laws. Money has to move through banking systems. Opportunities have to develop through relationships and timing. And changes in your career or business take time to manifest. This difference in timing is actually a blessing, even though it doesn't always feel that way. If everything manifested instantly, you would also instantly create all your fears, doubts, and negative thoughts. The delay gives you time to stabilize your new beliefs and become consistent in your new way of thinking. It allows you to practice your new self-love and worthiness until they become natural parts of who you are. During the time gap between your inner change and your outer results, you'll go through what I call the testing period. This is when life seems to challenge your new beliefs about yourself and your worthiness. You might lose money, face unexpected expenses, or have opportunities fall through. Old patterns might try to resurface, and your inner critic might get louder, saying things like, "See, this self-love stuff doesn't work," or "You're just fooling yourself." This testing period is actually a normal and necessary part of the transformation process. It's like the universe is asking, do you really believe you're worthy of wealth? Or are you going to go back to your old beliefs the moment things get difficult? How you respond to this testing period determines whether your transformation becomes permanent or whether you slip back into your old financial patterns. The timing of the testing period is crucial to understand because it often happens right before your breakthrough. Just when you're about to see real results from your inner work, everything might seem to get worse. Your car might break down, you might face a big unexpected bill, or you might lose a source of income. Many people interpret this as a sign that their new beliefs aren't working, so they give up and go back to their old way of thinking. But what's actually happening is that your old financial reality is clearing out to make room for your new one. Think of it like renovating a house. Before you can put in beautiful new fixtures and furniture, you have to tear out the old stuff. During the renovation process, the house looks worse than it did before you started. But this destruction is necessary to create something better. The same thing happens with your financial life when you're upgrading your relationship with yourself. The key to successfully navigating the delay period is to remember that outer changes always lag behind inner changes. When you plant a garden, you don't judge the success of your planting by what you see the next day. You water the seeds, trust the process, and wait for the right timing. You need to treat your financial transformation the same way. During this time, focus on maintaining your new beliefs about yourself and your worthiness. Continue practicing self-love even when your bank account hasn't changed yet. Keep affirming your value even when opportunities haven't shown up yet. Remember that the delay doesn't mean the process isn't working. It just means that big changes take time to manifest in the physical world. Just like compound interest in investing, the effects of self-love build on themselves over time. The first few days or weeks of practicing self-love might not create obvious changes in your financial situation, but each day of loving yourself, valuing yourself, and believing you're worthy of good things adds to the previous day. After a few months of consistent practice, you'll start to notice that you're making different choices, attracting different opportunities, and feeling more confident about money. After a year of consistent self-love practice, your financial life might look completely different. Not because of one big dramatic change, but because of hundreds of small improvements that built on each other. You might be earning more money, managing money better, attracting better opportunities, or feeling much more confident about your financial future. The compound effect of self-love is incredibly powerful, but it requires patience and consistency to see the full results. Even though the money might not show up immediately, there are signs that your inner work is creating changes in your financial reality. You might start feeling more confident when talking about money. You might find yourself speaking up for what you're worth instead of accepting less. You might notice that you're attracting people who value what you offer instead of people who try to get things from you cheaply. You might also notice that you're making better financial decisions without having to force yourself. Instead of buying things to make yourself feel better, you might find that you naturally want to save money or invest in your future. Instead of staying in situations where you're undervalued, you might find the courage to look for something better. These changes in your behavior are proof that your inner transformation is working, even if the big financial results haven't appeared yet. During the delay period, it's crucial to celebrate the small improvements in your financial life instead of only focusing on the big goals you haven't reached yet. If you usually stress about money, but you had a week where you felt calm about your finances, celebrate that. If you usually accept low pay, but you asked for a raise, celebrate that courage even if you didn't get the raise immediately. If you usually overspend, but you made a wise financial choice, acknowledge that progress. Celebrating small wins serves two important purposes. First, it trains your brain to notice positive changes instead of only focusing on what's still wrong. Second, it helps you maintain the positive energy and self-love that are creating the changes in the first place. When you appreciate the progress you're making, you feel good about yourself, and feeling good about yourself is what attracts more abundance into your life. Here's something super important. The universe doesn't hear your complaints, but it does hear the content of your complaints. Let me explain. If you keep saying, "I hate being broke, I hate my bills, I hate not having enough money," the universe doesn't hear the hate. It hears broke, bills, and not enough money. So you get more of those things. The secret is to focus on what you want and what you already have. Start saying, "I love having money flow to me easily, and I'm grateful for the money I do have." Your attention is like a spotlight that illuminates whatever you point it toward. Whatever you focus on becomes bigger and more prominent in your life. If you constantly focus on how much money you don't have, how hard it is to make money, and how broke you are, then these experiences become the dominant themes in your financial life. Your brain starts looking for more evidence to support these observations, and you begin to notice every example of financial struggle while missing opportunities for abundance. But when you shift your focus to what you want financially and what you're grateful for in your current situation, something magical happens. Your brain starts looking for evidence to support this new focus. You begin to notice opportunities you were blind to before. You start seeing examples of people who have created the kind of wealth you want. You become aware of resources and possibilities that were always there but weren't on your radar because you were focused on lack instead of abundance. Most people don't realize that complaining is actually a form of prayer or affirmation. When you complain about your financial situation, you're essentially placing an order with the universe for more of the same experiences. Every time you say, "I never have enough money," you're affirming your belief in scarcity. Every time you say, "I can't afford anything," you're programming your subconscious mind to create more situations where you can't afford things. The tricky thing about complaints is that they feel justified. When you're struggling financially, it feels completely reasonable to talk about your struggles. It feels honest and realistic. But what you might not realize is that this honest complaining is actually perpetuating the very situation you want to change. Your words have creative power, and when you consistently speak words of lack and limitation, you create more lack and limitation in your life. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools for transforming your financial life because it shifts your focus from what you don't have to what you do have. When you appreciate the money you currently have, even if it's not as much as you want, you create a feeling of abundance. This feeling of abundance attracts more abundance because attracts in the realm of energy and emotions. Start by finding things to appreciate about your current financial situation, no matter how small they might seem. Maybe you're grateful that you have a roof over your head, food to eat, or a job that pays your basic expenses. Maybe you're thankful for the $20 in your wallet, or the fact that you were able to pay your electric bill on time. These might seem like small things, but appreciating them creates the energetic foundation for bigger financial blessings to flow into your life. Many people confuse being realistic with being pessimistic about money. They think that acknowledging their financial limitations is just being honest about their situation. But there's a big difference between being aware of your current circumstances and being trapped by them mentally. You can acknowledge that you currently have limited money while still believing that this situation is temporary and changeable. Realistic thinking says, "I currently have $500 in my bank account, and I'm working on increasing that amount." Pessimistic thinking says, "I only have $500 in my bank account. I'll probably never have more than that, and I should just accept that I'll always struggle with money." The first approach acknowledges the current situation while remaining open to improvement. The second approach accepts the current situation as permanent and closes off possibilities for change. Pay attention to how you talk about money with other people. Do your conversations focus on how expensive everything is, how hard it is to make money, and how broke everyone is? These conversations might feel bonding because shared complaints can create a sense of connection, but they're actually reinforcing financial limitation for everyone involved. Start redirecting your money conversations toward more positive topics. Instead of complaining about how expensive gas is, talk about something you're saving money for that excites you. Instead of talking about how broke you are, mention something you're grateful to be able to afford. Instead of focusing on financial problems in the news, discuss success stories of people who have overcome financial challenges. These small changes in conversation can create big changes in your financial reality over time. Instead of spending mental energy worrying about money or focusing on what you lack, practice spending time visualizing the financial life you want to create. See yourself living comfortably, having enough money for the things that matter to you, and feeling relaxed and confident about your finances. Feel what it would be like to check your bank account and see numbers that make you smile. Imagine the freedom and peace that comes with financial security. This isn't about fantasizing or avoiding reality. It's about training your mind to focus on what you want to create instead of what you want to avoid. When you consistently focus on the financial reality you want to experience, your brain starts looking for ways to make that reality happen. You begin to notice opportunities, ideas, and resources that can help you move toward your financial goals. Most people are trapped in what psychologists call a scarcity mindset, the belief that there's not enough money, opportunities, or success to go around. This mindset creates a loop where you focus on lack, which makes you feel anxious and desperate, which leads to poor financial decisions, which creates more lack, which reinforces your belief in scarcity. Breaking this loop requires consciously choosing to focus on abundance instead of scarcity. Start noticing examples of abundance around you. Observe how much food is available in grocery stores, how many cars are on the road, how many businesses exist in your city, and how much money changes hands every single day. Remind yourself that you live in a world of incredible abundance, and there's more than enough wealth for everyone, including you. When you consistently focus on what you want financially instead of what you lack, you become magnetic to opportunities, ideas, and people that can help you create wealth. This isn't magical thinking, it's basic psychology. When you're focused on abundance and possibilities, you're more likely to take positive action, more open to trying new things, and more attractive to other positive, success-minded people. People want to do business with others who have a positive, abundant mindset because that energy is contagious and inspiring. Opportunities flow toward people who believe in possibilities rather than toward people who focus on limitations. Money is drawn to people who appreciate it and expect good things rather than to people who complain about it and expect struggle. Your focus literally determines what you attract into your financial life. Most people do this backwards, and that's why they stay broke. They look at their empty bank account, feel bad about themselves, then wonder why money never comes. But if you want to create wealth, you have to reverse this cycle. Start by loving yourself first, even when your bank account is small. When you feel worthy and loved by yourself, you'll start making better money decisions. You'll spot opportunities you missed before. You'll ask for what you're worth. And slowly, money will start flowing to you. Let me show you exactly how most people create their financial reality and why it keeps them trapped in struggle. First, they observe their current financial situation, the bills on the table, the low bank account balance, the credit card debt, or the job that doesn't pay enough. Then, based on what they observe, they form an internal image or attitude about themselves and their financial future. This image usually includes thoughts like, "I'm not good with money," feelings like worry and stress, and beliefs like, "I'll never get ahead financially." Next, This internal image gets reflected back to them through their external reality. Because they feel stressed and unworthy, they make decisions from that energy. They might take a job that pays less than their worth because they don't believe they deserve better. They might not follow through on business ideas because they don't trust their abilities. They might spend money impulsively to feel better about themselves. All of these actions create more financial struggle, which gives them more evidence to observe, and the cycle continues. This backward cycle becomes addictive because it feels familiar and predictable. Even though the results are painful, at least you know what to expect. There's a strange comfort in being able to predict that money will be tight, that opportunities won't work out, and that financial struggles will continue. Your brain prefers known pain over unknown possibilities because the unknown feels risky and scary. Breaking this cycle requires courage because it means stepping into uncertainty. When you start loving yourself and believing you deserve wealth, you're essentially saying, I don't know exactly how it will happen, but I'm going to trust that good things are possible for me. This feels vulnerable because you're opening yourself up to potential disappointment. But this vulnerability is actually the doorway to transformation. The wealth-creating cycle works in completely the opposite direction. Instead of starting with observation of your current reality, you start with creating an internal image of who you want to be and what you want to experience financially. You consciously choose thoughts like, I am worthy of abundance, feelings like excitement and gratitude, and beliefs like, money flows to me easily because I provide value to others. From this internal state of self-love and worthiness, you naturally begin making different choices. You speak up for yourself in salary negotiations. You pursue opportunities that align with your values rather than settling for whatever comes along. You invest in your growth and education. You surround yourself with people who support your success. These actions, made from a place of self-love rather than desperation, create different results in your external world. The biggest challenge most people face with this reverse cycle is learning how to love themselves and feel worthy when their external circumstances seem to prove otherwise. How do you feel abundant when you're looking at bills you can't pay? How do you believe you deserve wealth when your business is failing? How do you maintain self-love when everyone around you is struggling financially? The key is to understand that your worth as a human being has nothing to do with your current financial circumstances. Your bank account balance doesn't determine your value. Your credit score doesn't define who you are. Your current income doesn't predict your future potential. You were born worthy of love and abundance, and no external situation can change that fundamental truth about you. Once you start with self-love and create an internal image of abundance, the next step is to look for confirmation of this new reality rather than evidence of your old reality. This is completely different from how most people use their attention. Instead of looking for all the ways your life proves you're not good enough or destined to struggle, you start looking for signs that your new reality is beginning to manifest. Maybe you notice that someone complimented your work, which confirms that you provide value. Maybe you received an unexpected refund or found money in an old jacket, which confirms that money can come to you easily. Maybe you had a conversation that led to a potential opportunity, which confirms that the universe is conspiring to help you succeed. These might seem like small things, but focusing on them trains your brain to notice more positive evidence. One of the hardest parts of implementing this cycle is learning to stop giving so much attention to your current financial reality. This doesn't mean being irresponsible or ignoring your bills. It means recognizing that what you see around you right now is the result of old thoughts, old beliefs, and old actions. If you want to create something different, you have to stop using your current situation as evidence of what's possible for you in the future. Turning your back on current reality requires tremendous faith and discipline. Every day, you'll be tempted to look at your bank account and feel discouraged. Every day, you'll want to focus on the bills, the debt, and the financial pressure. But every time you give your attention to these things with worry and stress, you're actually reinforcing them and asking for more of the same. Learning to acknowledge your current situation without being emotionally triggered by it is a crucial skill for financial transformation. When you consistently practice this reversed cycle, starting with self-love, maintaining that internal state regardless of external circumstances, and looking for confirmation of your new reality, something powerful begins to happen. Each day of practice builds on the previous day. Each choice made from self-love rather than fear creates slightly better results. Each time you focus on abundance rather than lack, you strengthen your abundance mindset. After weeks of consistent practice, you'll notice that you feel differently about yourself and money. After months, you'll see that you're making different decisions and attracting different opportunities. After a year, your entire financial life might be transformed, but the key is consistency. You can't practice self-love for a few days, see that nothing has changed externally, and then go back to your old patterns. The transformation happens through daily commitment to loving yourself regardless of circumstances. The beauty of this reversed cycle is that you don't have to make huge changes all at once. You just have to start with small acts of self-love and gradually build from there. Maybe you start by speaking to yourself more kindly when you make financial mistakes. Maybe you begin asking for what you're worth in small situations before working up to bigger negotiations. Maybe you practice gratitude for the money you have before expecting to feel grateful for money you don't have yet. These small changes might not seem significant, but they're actually rewiring your brain and changing your energy. Each act of self-love builds your confidence and your sense of worthiness. Each time you focus on abundance rather than lack, you're training yourself to see opportunities instead of obstacles. Over time, these small changes compound into major transformations in your financial life. I'm sharing this with you because I lived it myself. For years, I tried every money-making method out there, but nothing worked long-term. At the beginning of my spiritual journey, I thought self-love and money had nothing to do with each other. But when I started practicing deep self-love, everything changed. Money started coming to me in ways I never imagined, and it felt natural and easy. Before I understood the connection between self-love and wealth, I was trapped in the same cycle that most people experience. I would work incredibly hard, try new strategies, get excited about opportunities, but somehow always end up back where I started financially. I read every book about making money, attended seminars, and followed the advice of successful people, but nothing created lasting change in my financial life. What I didn't realize at the time was that I was fighting an internal battle that I couldn't win with external strategies. Deep down, I didn't believe I deserved to be wealthy. I had unconscious beliefs that said money was hard to come by, that I wasn't smart enough to be rich, and that people like me were meant to struggle financially. No amount of business knowledge or networking could overcome these limiting beliefs because they were sabotaging every opportunity from the inside. The turning point came when I stopped trying to fix my money problems and started working on my relationship with myself. Instead of focusing on business strategies and investment techniques, I began practicing self-compassion and challenging the critical voice in my head. Instead of trying to prove my worth through achievements, I started accepting myself as valuable just as I was. At first, this felt completely unrelated to money and almost like a waste of time. I thought I should be working on my business or learning new skills, not sitting around practicing self-love. But as I continued this inner work, I started noticing subtle changes in how I approached opportunities, how I valued my time and energy, and how I presented myself to others. I began making decisions from a place of self-worth rather than desperation, and these decisions led to completely different results. What amazed me was how money started coming to me in ways I never could have planned or forced. Instead of chasing opportunities frantically, the right opportunities started appearing naturally. Instead of accepting low-paying work because I was desperate, I found myself attracting clients who valued what I offered and were happy to pay premium prices. Instead of worrying constantly about money, I felt a sense of trust that everything would work out. The money didn't come through one big dramatic event. It came through a series of small improvements that built on each other over time. I negotiated a better salary at my job because I finally believed I was worth it. I started a side business that grew naturally because I was excited about it rather than desperate for income. I made better financial decisions because I was thinking from abundance rather than scarcity. I attracted mentors and opportunities because people wanted to help someone who believed in themselves. Looking back, I wish I had understood this connection between self-love and wealth much earlier in my life. I spent so many years working hard but getting nowhere, not because I wasn't capable or smart enough, but because I was fighting against my own subconscious beliefs about what I deserved. I wish someone had told me that the fastest way to change my financial life was to change how I felt about myself. If I had known that self-love was the foundation of wealth, I would have spent less time trying to learn more strategies and more time healing my relationship with myself. I would have focused on building my confidence and self-worth before trying to build my business. I would have practiced gratitude and abundance thinking before trying to attract more money. The external work is important, but it only works when you have the right internal foundation. Now that I understand how this process works, I feel a responsibility to share it with others who are struggling financially despite their best efforts. I know what it's like to feel trapped in financial struggle, to work hard but never get ahead, and to wonder why some people seem to make money easily while others can't catch a break. I want people to know that their financial struggles aren't permanent and that they have more power to change their situation than they realize. The most rewarding part of teaching this principle is seeing people's lives transform when they finally understand that their worth isn't determined by their bank account, but their bank account is influenced by their sense of worth. When people start loving themselves deeply and believing they deserve abundance, their entire relationship with money changes. They stop settling for less than their worth. They start making better decisions, and they attract opportunities that align with their true value. What I've discovered is that when you heal your relationship with money through self-love, it affects every other area of your life as well. Your relationships improve because you're not stressed about money all the time. Your health improves because you're not carrying the physical tension that comes with financial worry. Your creativity flourishes because you're not in survival mode constantly. Your contribution to others increases because you have the resources and energy to help people. This is why I'm so passionate about sharing this message. It's not just about making more money. It's about creating a life where you feel worthy, valuable, and abundant in every way. When you truly love yourself, wealth becomes just one of many blessings that flow naturally into your life. You attract not just money, but opportunities, relationships, experiences, and a sense of fulfillment that money alone could never provide. As we explore the connection between self-love and wealth, we discover a truth that's always been inside us. What we see in our bank account is really just a mirror of how much we value ourselves. The secret to wealth isn't about forcing money to come to us. It's about becoming someone who naturally attracts abundance. Just like a flower doesn't struggle to bloom, when you love yourself deeply, wealth comes naturally. Your journey with money is really a journey of discovering how worthy and lovable you truly are. What we're really talking about when we discuss self-love and wealth is a universal principle that governs all of life. This principle states that you can only receive from the world what you believe you deserve. You can only attract into your life what matches your internal sense of worth. This isn't just true for money, it's true for love, opportunities, health, friendships, and every other form of abundance you might desire. When you understand this principle, you realize that working on your self-love isn't separate from working on your financial goals. It's the most direct path to achieving them. Every moment you spend loving yourself, appreciating your value, and treating yourself with kindness is actually an investment in your financial future. Every time you choose to see yourself as worthy and deserving, you're programming your subconscious mind to create experiences that reflect that worthiness. In a world that's obsessed with external strategies for making money, self-love might seem like a soft or impractical approach to building wealth. But the truth is that self-love is the most powerful wealth strategy there is because it addresses the root cause of financial struggle rather than just the symptoms. You can learn all the business strategies in the world, but if you don't believe you deserve success, you'll find ways to sabotage yourself. You can have access to incredible opportunities, but if you don't value yourself, you won't recognize them or take advantage of them. Self-love works as a wealth strategy because it aligns your conscious desires with your subconscious beliefs. When your conscious mind wants money but your subconscious mind believes you don't deserve it, you're working against yourself. But when both your conscious and subconscious minds agree that you're worthy of abundance, you become an unstoppable force for creating wealth. Your thoughts, feelings, and actions all align in the same direction, and this alignment is what makes manifestation possible. When you heal your relationship with money through self-love, you're not just changing your own life, you're changing the financial legacy you pass on to future generations. The beliefs about money and worthiness that you carry were likely passed down to you from your parents, who learned them from their parents, and so on. By breaking the cycle of financial struggle through self-love, you're creating a new legacy of abundance for your children and their children. Children learn more from what they observe than from what they're told. When they see you treating yourself with love and respect, believing you deserve good things, and making financial decisions from a place of confidence rather than fear, they absorb these lessons at a deep level. They learn that it's normal to value yourself, normal to expect abundance, and normal to feel worthy of prosperity. This is one of the greatest gifts you can give to the people you love. At its deepest level, the connection between self-love and wealth points to a spiritual truth about the nature of abundance. The universe, life force, or whatever you choose to call the creative power behind existence is inherently abundant. Look at nature. There are billions of stars, countless flowers, endless varieties of animals and plants. Abundance is the natural state of creation. Scarcity and struggle are not natural states. They're learned limitations that we impose on ourselves through our beliefs and conditioning. When you love yourself deeply, you align with the abundant nature of life itself. You stop fighting against the natural flow of prosperity and start moving with it. You recognize that abundance is your birthright, not something you have to earn or prove you deserve. Most people make financial decisions from fear, fear of not having enough, fear of making mistakes, fear of being judged, fear of failure. But when you love yourself deeply, you start making decisions from love instead. Love for yourself, love for your future, love for the people you want to help, love for the life you want to create. This shift from fear-based to love-based decision-making changes everything about your financial life. Love-based decisions are more creative, more generous, more trusting, and more aligned with your authentic values. They lead to opportunities that not only bring money, but also bring fulfillment and joy. They create businesses that serve others while serving yourself. They attract partnerships that benefit everyone involved. They build wealth that feels good and sustainable rather than wealth that comes at the expense of your health, relationships, or integrity. When you fully embrace the connection between self-love and wealth, you step into your role as a co-creator of your financial reality. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start being an active participant in designing your life. You recognize that while you can't control everything that happens to you, you have tremendous power over how you respond to what happens and what you choose to focus on. This co-creative power is both exciting and humbling. It's exciting because it means you have far more influence over your financial future than you might have realized. It's humbling because it means taking responsibility for your part in creating your current reality. But this responsibility isn't a burden. It's actually liberation. When you know that you have the power to change your financial life through changing your relationship with yourself, you're no longer at the mercy of external circumstances. I hope this message will be the key that unlocks abundance in your life. If this video touched your heart, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, and leave a comment below telling me one thing you love about yourself right now. Thanks for watching, and remember, you are worthy of all the wealth life has to offer. See you in the next video. Now that you understand the powerful connection between self-love and wealth, the question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Understanding these principles intellectually is just the beginning. Real transformation happens when you start applying them consistently in your daily life. The first step is to make a commitment to yourself that you're going to approach your financial life differently from now on. Start today by looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, "I am worthy of abundance. I deserve good things in my life. I love and value myself just as I am." These might feel like simple words, but when spoken with intention and repeated consistently, they have the power to reprogram your subconscious mind and change your financial reality. Don't wait until you feel completely worthy. Start practicing worthiness, and the feeling will follow. Make self-love a daily practice rather than just a nice idea you think about occasionally. Every morning, spend a few minutes focusing on things you appreciate about yourself. Every evening, acknowledge something you did well that day, even if it seems small. Throughout the day, pay attention to your internal dialogue and gently redirect it toward kindness and encouragement whenever you notice self-criticism. This daily practice doesn't require hours of time or complicated techniques. It just requires consistency and genuine intention to treat yourself with the same love and respect you would give to someone you care about deeply. As you make this practice a habit, you'll notice that your relationship with money begins to shift naturally. You'll start making different choices, attracting different opportunities, and feeling more confident about your financial future. Surround yourself with people who support your growth and believe in your potential. If you're constantly around people who complain about money, criticize wealthy people, or reinforce limiting beliefs about what's possible, it will be much harder to maintain your new positive relationship with yourself and money. Seek out friends, mentors, books, videos, and communities that inspire you and remind you of your worth. This doesn't mean you have to abandon everyone in your life who struggles with money or has limiting beliefs. But it does mean being intentional about who you spend time with and what messages you allow into your mind. Choose to invest your time and energy in relationships and resources that uplift you rather than drain you. Your environment has a huge impact on your mindset. So create an environment that supports the wealthy, abundant person you're becoming. As you begin to experience positive changes in your financial life through self-love, consider sharing your journey with others who might benefit from this message. You don't have to become a teacher or coach unless you want to, but simply living as an example of someone who values themselves and attracts abundance can inspire others to examine their own relationship with money and self-worth. Share this video with friends or family members who you think might be ready to hear this message. Leave comments about your experiences and insights to encourage others who are on the same journey. The more you give love and support to others, the more abundance flows back to you in all forms, including financially. Your transformation can become a gift not just to yourself, but to everyone whose life you touch. Don't wait until you have the bank account you want to start celebrating your worth. Start celebrating who you are right now with whatever money you currently have. Find reasons to appreciate yourself today. Acknowledge the progress you've already made in your life. Recognize the value you bring to the world through your unique gifts, talents, and perspective. The more you celebrate your worth now, the more worthy you'll feel and the more abundance you'll attract. Wealth isn't just about having money. It's about feeling rich in every aspect of your life. When you feel wealthy in love, gratitude, appreciation, and self-worth, financial wealth becomes a natural extension of that inner abundance. Remember, you are not broken and you don't need to be fixed. You are inherently valuable and deserving of all the good things life has to offer. Your journey to financial freedom through self-love starts with believing this truth about yourself, and it continues with choosing to act from this truth every single day. The wealth you seek is not outside of you. It's inside you, waiting to be expressed through your recognition of your own infinite worth. The connection between self-love and wealth is not just a theory or a nice spiritual concept. It's a practical reality that you can start experiencing immediately. Every moment you choose to love yourself, value yourself, and treat yourself with kindness, you're planting seeds of abundance that will bloom in your financial life and in every other area of your life as well. Your bank account is not a measure of your worth as a human being, but your sense of worth as a human being will always be reflected in your bank account. When you truly understand this truth and begin living from it, you'll discover that creating wealth becomes as natural as breathing. You'll stop struggling and start flowing. You'll stop chasing and start attracting. You'll stop proving and start being. The transformation you're capable of is beyond anything you can imagine right now. Trust the process, be patient with yourself, and remember that every journey begins with a single step. Today, let that step be a moment of genuine self-love and appreciation. Tomorrow, let it be another, and watch as your entire world begins to reflect back the love and abundance you've chosen to embody. You are worthy, you are valuable, you are deserving of wealth and every other form of abundance. Now it's time to start living like the abundant, prosperous, deeply loved person you truly are.